Go.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Cringe Squadcast. This is episode 18, which is the console comparison. I'm joined by my co-host Russell,
Hello there.
Vignesh,
Yo, what's up?
Sean,
What up?
and Aidan. He never responds till like
He's
10
here in
plus
spirit.
seconds after.
He's here in spirit.
Yeah. Okay, so in today's episode, we'll be discussing the three main console companies and their consoles, which will be Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. So, yeah, just before we get into this, we don't want any like arguing about these consoles and what is better and whatnot. So yeah,
Yeah, we would not be
Yeah.
talking about our personal opinions. We are
actually
really
we will,
just.
but we don't want
I
that
mean,
to spoil
yeah,
the
We're
point.
but
we're
like,
gonna be
we're not
talking
gonna.
about our personal opinions, but we're not trying to start a fight over it.
Yeah,
we're not trying to start an
we
argument.
are mostly going to be just discussing factual information about
Yeah.
all the consoles that we
So
will be talking
yeah.
about.
I So mean, the you're here for a comments. podcast. You're not here for a debate. I mean, so in the comments, please don't like make a big argument.
Well, really, they're here for just strict entertainment, not to see
That's true.
who's
That's true, but
who's
you
gonna
know,
draw
we're called
blood
a podcast.
first.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh
hey.
yeah, don't create a big thing out of comments. Anyways,
So, yeah, I say let's get started.
All right, so first of all, we're gonna start off with Nintendo.
Yeah,
So Russell, you want to take that one?
yeah, I don't want to go too into depth about Nintendo's backstory before they start getting into making video games, but they were around for a good while until they made the Famicom back in 1983, because they were originally they were like a card company. They would just make like a deck of cards, and they would just sell them. But then around the 1970s, that's when like really video games started to like hit the mainstream, and that's when Nintendo kind of started getting into it and making arcades. But they started making consoles really until 1983 with, like I said, the original Famicom, which we all know in America as the Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES for short. Um, and then, which by the way, can anyone believe that the NES is over 30 years old?
Yes.
yeah, yeah, not.
I think it's around like 35, 36 years old. Jesus. Um, and great console and all. And then they released the Super Nintendo in 1990. Well, in 1990 in Japan and 91 in America and everywhere else basically. Um, I mean, the NES, I'm still gonna love it, but like really in terms of actual like playing games for it, the Super Nintendo was really the start for me. Granted, I wasn't around in 1991, so I didn't actually
I
buy a
don't think any
console
of
around
us
then.
were.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I started playing it around the early to mid 2010s, and I still have my original version, but now I just play it on either the SNES Classic that came out or on the Nintendo Switch Online service. But we'll get to the Nintendo Switch later. And then I guess really the first comparison that we can make between any consoles is around 95, well, really 96 is because that's when the Nintendo 64 came out. But they also had what came out the year before in 95 was the PlayStation. Um, so I guess that's really the first comparison we're gonna make. Really, we're not gonna spend too much time on these early ones. It's not until when we get into the GameCube, the Xbox, and the PS2, that's when we're gonna start really going more into depth about the actual comparisons. But really quickly, what's your guys' personal opinions
Okay.
on which one is better, either the N64 or the PlayStation?
The PlayStation, in my opinion, kind of better because I think it has a better graphics. So yeah. I mean, Nintendo is all about having fun rather than
No,
graphics.
Vignesh, we're talking about these older consoles, not the present ones.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I'm talking about that's saying PS3 and the GameCube, right? So yeah, I'm
No,
saying
no, no,
that
no,
yeah.
no. We're talking about the N64. That was like around
Oh,
like
And
no, no,
the
'96.
PS2, right?
No, no,
yeah, PS2.
no, no, no. The PS2,
Or just the PlayStation? Just
the original PlayStation, and
all
Sean,
right, all right.
Okay,
like Rashawn.
okay then yeah. Okay then I guess like both of them are really good. In my opinion, I still would
Yeah, like
prefer like PlayStation,
these, the early
but
ones are
then
really, honestly, really difficult to try and choose.
because they
Cause
both
back
are
in like the '90s and even like the early 2000s, it's really quite hard to try and pick one to say like, oh, this
um
one's better. Cause really back in the '90s, they were probably like on the same level, I would say, except for obviously
the
like
games.
the PlayStation and even the Sega Saturn around this time. Um, they started using discs, while Nintendo by this point were still using cartridges.
Um,
So and this was also the
I,
last Nintendo console to use cartridges. Um, but
I think
for
the
me
biggest
personally, in terms of
Oh my god, hang on,
recognize,
sorry to interrupt. Like, I think Vignesh is trying to say something.
okay, yeah, I mean, okay, anyway, so what I'm trying to say is, okay, what I'm trying to say is that both those consoles are different in one way. It's like actually games, like so. I mean, personally, I'm sorry to interrupt Russell, but personally, I would actually prefer the PlayStation when it comes to games, because obviously, I think I played a couple of PlayStation games and I think they're really good. I mean, obviously, when it comes to graphics and stuff, it obviously they both are all the same. They both the same compared to this time. They obviously have a little, they lack a little, but when it comes to fun, I think I would choose PlayStation over GameCube. But GameCube is a very good console as well. I mean, it's awesome.
I hope you mean by N64, because we're gonna talk about GameCube in a bit.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, let's
because
see.
GameCube came around like 2001. With the
I got
PlayStation 2.
confused.
But I would mostly agree with you there. I mean, the graphics, I think. I mean, grandly, I think they're both on the same level. But for me personally, I think I would slightly prefer the PlayStation because really, uh, it's a lot more. The PlayStation graphics are a lot more cleaner than the N64. But I feel like that the N64 has a lot more recognizable games. Like obviously, you have like your Mario's and your Zeldas, and really, I mean, grandly, I think that like really the N64 had a lot of like some of like the best titles in some of their respective series, like Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask. You know, Mario Parties 1 through 3. You know, that's when the Mario Party series like started, and like Mario Kart 64. Um, but um, I think for me personally, um, slightly from that perspective alone, I'm gonna have to give, for me personally, the edge to the N64. But I'm not saying that like the PlayStation like sucked or anything, because clearly, I mean, because you still had like your Metal Gear Solids, you still had you know like great titles on there, like Crash Bandicoot, uh, which was still
Uncharted.
a PlayStation exclusive for a while until I think around. Yeah, really around like the like around like 2004, 2003. That's when it kind of started branching out into other consoles. But back in like the late '90s, it was really solely PlayStation. So I do have to give it credit for that. Um, but any of you guys want to mention your opinions on which one you guys think is better?
Quickly, okay. Actually, don't go ahead.
I mean, I was just gonna say I don't really have much to say because I don't know too much about these older consoles, so I can't really
Oh,
give my opinion.
okay.
Like, wait, sorry to interrupt, Vignesh, but like, where do you think, Dylan, you would start like inputting like a lot of like opinions, like around like
Like
the
Xbox 360 and on.
okay. I no, I was just wondering.
Okay.
Um,
Nice. Okay. Wait. Was Uncharted? I think of Uncharted 1 or something like that. Wait, was
No,
it
no, no,
released on?
that was like the first Xbox, I think.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Maybe even 360.
Oh, that's an old game. But I guess after that, I think God of War. I think God of War was released on the original.
No, it
Although I
was.
will say this, the consoles that we're mainly focusing on for this episode is Switch, PS5, and PS4, and then Xbox Ones, all
Yeah,
those, and then the series. But we also, like Russell's doing, we are discussing the older ones as well.
Yeah.
yeah, like
Okay. I mean, I
even
think that's
even
fair.
like the 360, the PS3, and the Wii. We still have a lot to talk about that because we were, in that era. Like we basically owned these consoles, so we
Mhm.
have a lot more opinions on those than like Dylan said. Like for him, he isn't gonna really know that much about like the N64 or the PlayStation or the original one at least, so he can't give his fair opinion. But like the PS4 slash PS5 and like the Xbox One slash Series X or S, he can give his fair opinion on because he's used them a lot. Um, which I could totally understand. So most like really this early category with the N64 versus PlayStation, we're not gonna go too into depth on it. Really, with these earlier consoles, it really just comes down to opinion. I mean, really, any comparison it comes down to opinion per se, but
Yeah.
it really is signified with these older consoles. It's really just down to opinion.
Yeah.
It's more the later consoles where it's like, yeah, it's somewhat your opinion, but it's also like how much technology has progressed. And even like when we look at the GameCube versus PlayStation 2 versus Xbox, we're gonna see a significant graphics jump between this one and then these next three. So why don't we do that? The next
Um.
around 2000, 2001. Anyways, or sorry, Vignesh, you were gonna say something?
Sorry for interrupting, but is Aiden like Aiden and Sean? Do you guys want to say anything about?
No, not really.
Yeah. Um, I'd say the N64. That's like I don't know anything from like the original PlayStation, so yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So
Nice.
now we're gonna head on to 2000, 2001, I would say, because I know that's when the PS2 and the GameCube came out. I don't exactly remember when the original Xbox came out. I think it was around
That's
2000,
I,
2001.
I think that's 2002 or 2001. I forgot.
But um, again, with these consoles, not so much as with like the previous ones we talked about, but again, this one comes down to opinion. So
Sorry to interrupt, but the original Xbox came out on November 15th of 2001.
okay, so yeah, I was right. Yeah,
Yeah.
they all came out in 2001. Um, so I actually have a little bit more experience with the GameCube and the PS2. So, really quickly, who wants to before I say my opinions, who wants to say their opinions on which one they think is personally better?
Um. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah. I don't.
Oh, sorry, I
I
was
think
just
I'm.
asking what was the question again because I went to go do something real quick.
Which one is to to all you guys? Which one is your personal favorite? GameCube, PS2, or the original Xbox?
I mean, obviously, I'll probably go with Xbox because that's literally the console I grew up on.
Yeah,
Same
I
here. I'll go
okay,
with
I
the
can
Xbox.
agree with you. I could see why you say that. There is one thing though that I can,
But that's just opinion. That's just
yeah,
opinion.
Yeah.
but
Obviously.
I think like there's one thing that we can all objectively agree on with the original Xbox. The original controller
Oh
sucked.
God. Yeah, it was extremely bulky
It's
compared to like the one I
that's
have
why
now.
people call it the
It's a
Duke
dual
controller because it's
controller.
so goddamn bulky.
Yeah.
It's literally like it's literally like a goddamn football.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing they improved on it since
Yeah,
then.
Thank God
Yeah,
they
the
definitely
Xbox
improved on it
360.
with the 360, but we'll get to that when
Yeah.
we get to the 360 era.
Okay.
But for me personally, I'm gonna again it comes down to personal preference. I'm gonna have to go with the GameCube. Actually for this one, I mean yeah, it's partially the games again, but also like I just think that out of all three consoles, I think that the graphics for the GameCube is overall the best. Um,
I mean, Nintendo never made consoles like with high graphics and stuff. They always focus on fun. But I mean, I'm pretty
I
sure
would,
all of them are all the same. But I don't know. I'm not too sure. But yeah,
um, but yeah, I think personally, it comes down to for me with this section, and then the next sections we'll go on to. For me personally, it comes down to the games, the graphics, and the controllers. I mean, I can try
yeah.
and play like the only way I can play original Xbox games is if I use a 360 and a 360 controller, because I can't stand the goddamn Duke controller for the original Xbox, and I don't know who can, but
Probably big hands.
that thing is just terrible.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um.
like Vignesh said, maybe if you had big hands, you want to be that bad.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
again, it's like who do you
I
see
mean, even
just has big hands strictly for the fact of trying to play the original Xbox? No one.
I mean, here it's almost like improvement. Like the Xbox 360 at least improved on
Yeah,
that. And
yeah,
also, I
we
mean,
will get to that a lot more.
yeah, even if I have a big hand, okay, I don't have the biggest hand, but I do have like an averagely big hand. Even for me, if I look at the controller, it just looks a little uncomfortable. But I also think at least for 30 minutes, your hands be like you
It's like all
can't even reach
cramped.
buttons. Yeah, you can't even reach any buttons. Like it's just
Um,
it doesn't look good at all.
and then I I think like I would give the edge to the PS2 because I think it was the first ever. I may be wrong on this, but I think the PS2 was the first ever console to be not only a game console, but also a movie player, because that could play DVDs. Um,
Pretty sure.
I
Yeah.
I th- maybe the Xbox might have. I'm not exactly sure on that, but
The Xbox, I don't think so.
I think that obviously the GameCube couldn't because it had like these like little mini discs, which obviously weren't the size of a regular DVD, so GameCube couldn't
Yeah,
even
they just.
play a DVD. But I think that
Mhm.
the PS2 was the first ever console to
To
um
support Blu-ray. I'm
no,
pretty
no,
sure
no, not
Blu-ray. I don't
Blu-ray,
know.
just DVD because Blu-ray wasn't even a thing by this point because this was
Hmm.
2001.
1 second, let me see. Okay,
Blu-ray just came out like in 2006. Yes, I
one
know
second.
I'm a
Let me.
massive goddamn nerd. Don't judge me.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
but but yeah, for me personally, it comes. Like, I just never really got used to the like the PlayStation controller, and it really just comes down to the fact of the joysticks of them being right next to each other. I don't know
That's
why, but
uncomfortable.
it just felt very uncomfortable in my hands. Where like um, granted the freaking the N64 that controller it looks bulky. Not as bulky as the original Duke controller for the Xbox, but it doesn't look that much. It actually kind of looks worse than a PlayStation controller. But I freaking love the GameCube controller. It's probably one of the best controllers ever made. In my well, I a lot of people would agree, but for me personally, I just don't like the two joysticks next to each other. But besides that, I think that the PlayStation was a fine. PlayStation 2 was a good console. Just for me personally, the GameCube slightly edges out. Does anyone want to mention
Hmm.
anything before we get on to like the next section that we're gonna talk about?
I got nothing.
I got
Sean,
nothing.
Sean, you want to mention anything?
No, not really.
Aiden.
Aiden, you want to
All
mention
right,
anything?
Moving on.
all right,
Yes.
okay. Now, see, this is like the big section where we're gonna probably be spending a good significant time on, including the next one, which will probably be the longest section of the video. So this section we're gonna be talking about the 360, the PlayStation 3, and the Wii. Now this is where I gotta admit, I gotta start kind of leaning towards more 360 or PlayStation. Because by this point, I mean, yeah, granted, Nintendo was still putting out great titles, but you could definitely tell that the graphics weren't on par with like the other competitors. So I
Yeah,
do
that's
gotta give
true.
them that. But um, but I guess for this section, you could kind of actually, well, actually, no, technically after this, we have two more sections. If you actually think about it, which Dylan actually does not know about this, but I
Yep.
just remembered something. Uh, that might uh introduce something else. But we'll get to that next section.
Well, I mean, obviously we have the PS4, Xbox One era, and then we have the PS5, and then Series.
Yeah, there's something
era.
about that
We also have Nintendo Switch.
that PS4 Xbox One era that you kind of forgot about, but we'll get to that.
No, I know the Switch, but obviously.
No,
But...
no, 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 not the Switch. But
Okay, so the
again,
Oh, the
console.
2DS.
no, 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 no. I'll mention it. I'll mention it.
Okay.
Just
Okay. Okay.
we
Okay.
got
Oculus.
no,
Oculus.
no.
Mobile.
That's obviously
Okay,
Oculus
you know
and
what?
mobile phone.
Just get on to this.
$19 Fortnite card. Oh, I'm
Shut
sorry.
up.
You just type that in Discord.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, Russell. Continue.
So again, before we start getting on to specifics, everyone, what is your personal favorite?
Of
Xbox
what?
360.
Oh yeah, Xbox 360. Yeah, because
360.
Obviously, Xbox
I
360.
played that console for so many years.
Dude, I played that console and it was one of the best experiences ever.
Yeah,
I mean, I grew up in Xbox, so I
And
mean,
the controller
it's
was
fine.
pretty good.
Yeah, it
Sure,
was way better
it
than
still
the.
had some flaws, but it was still pretty good overall.
Okay, I
I mean,
gotta
I'm
admit,
thinking.
I do agree with you. My personal favorite is the 360, but there is one problem with the 360 that, again, kind of like the original
The
Xbox, we can all agree on.
the red the red what the
Yeah,
fuck
the
that
red
thing?
rings.
The red ring has never
the-
happened to me ever.
Yeah, yeah, it never happened to me either, but I've seen it's basically a plague with all
Mhm.
these 360 consoles. Is the red
I think it
rings of
happened.
death, which if you guys
Yeah, I
don't
mean
know
it happened.
what we're talking about, um basically what it is that on the console itself, there's the power button is I think on later versions of the 360 they made it into like a smaller button, but most of the versions that you'll find, it's a big, it's a bit like it's a big button with like four separate sections on it, and then
Yeah.
over the course of time, well, not initially, obviously not initially when you get it, but I don't know how this exactly happens, but at a certain point, it starts showing these red rings, which
Okay.
basically is like the countdown, basically, until you basically can't use it anymore. And then once
Okay, I think
all
the
four, sorry, Vignesh, let me just finish this out real quick, and then
yeah yeah.
once all four sections of the ring fill out, that means that you can't use the console anymore, and you have to go and buy a new one, which is the biggest
Mhm.
problem out of of this console, which thankfully they did improve on with the Xbox One and the Series X and S. Um,
Yeah.
but Dylan, what did you to everyone? What did you guys think about the Red Ring of Death?
Okay.
Well, obviously, it's a terrible thing to happen to your console. Like
I
that would
mean,
suck if you just had to go buy a new one
I think it's a
for
good
something
idea.
you can't even prevent.
Hold on, hold on, hold
How
on,
is it a good
wait. What
idea?
did Aidan say?
I think it's a good idea.
He says it's a good idea.
It makes them more money. I think. Yeah.
I mean,
But,
yeah, for the company, obviously it's a good idea because then they get more money. But for in consumers, like, well, this sucks. Now I gotta go buy a new console, or better yet, just go and get a different one.
Yeah.
Wait, why did that even
Actually,
happen? Like I knew, like.
no, it's because of
Anyway.
overheating. The console was overheating. If the console overheats, it happens. That's why.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a good idea for the company to do. So that way
I
they
don't know.
know how
But
much
again,
time they
Aiden,
have.
how would you react if that happened to you? If like all of a sudden you were playing a game and all of a sudden you start like the red ring started appearing on your console.
Oh well, you know the typical maybe 8-year-old, or I don't know how old I would be, not enough to really care or notice, would, I don't know, probably watch TV after.
Okay.
Oh, that's
That's a fair
yeah,
point.
I
I mean,
just think I
that's
was,
cool.
when I, at that age, I just wouldn't care enough. I mean, I barely played video games. I mean, I played Minecraft, but that was
I
it.
have
But
a rare
anyway,
Xbox 360. Red lights.
Uh,
Uh, anyway,
Which I do have to I do have to give a point to both the Wii and the PS3 because they never had any sort of like basically overlasting like time limit of how much longer you can use the console until it basically just dies.
mm,
So that's a good thing.
yeah, that's true.
Hey, just out of curiosity, Russell, how long did people usually have once the Red Ring started?
I
Hmm.
don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up, but like it probably wasn't for that long.
Probably like a year. Probably like a year after using it extremely.
A year? No, probably less than that.
Yeah, I was like,
Wait,
what?
why? Why less than?
Probably maybe like
I
a
mean,
week or two.
week or two.
I don't know,
Okay, that's
man.
true.
I don't know for sure. I'm just guessing. But I doubt it
I
was a
mean,
year. I think it was a
no,
lot shorter
okay,
than
here.
that.
No, I think it happens because like if you use your console extensively, so especially I don't know about that, but I think if you use a console so much and probably you probably like don't like I think you block the vent or something like that, then it overheats. I think that's when the red ring of death happens, but I'm not too sure. I think that's the only reason I could find out.
Why did everyone just go silent?
I don't know. It's like we
That's
just had a
also
unanimous
What just
agreement.
happened?
I'm just
Shut
trying to
up.
I'm just
no.
trying to look up like how long the user can use the console for until it's like completely
Okay,
like dead.
you do that. I'll talk about it for a while. So the Red Ring of Death, apparently as it's called, never happened to me. I had an Xbox 360 growing up. I also had a Wii. Um and like I'm pretty sure as long as you kept it in moderation, it shouldn't have happened because like my Xbox 360, if I still had it, it would be working. You know, it'd be pretty bad, but it'd be working. That's my point. And the fact that like this red ring of death apparently popped up. That's that his
Ooh,
image.
Sean's glitching out for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're going a little muffled.
But we know
yeah.
what you're
Oh,
saying.
go ahead.
I actually still have my Xbox 360. It's like somewhere in my closet, I
Oh
believe.
man.
It still works perfectly fine though. I still have all the games and whatnot. It's never
I mean,
experienced
I
anything like
played.
the Red Ring of Death.
Yeah.
I mean, I never owned a Xbox 360, but I played it. I think with someone else, and well, I don't think they had real big problems with it.
Yeah, it's just like I've never really had it happen, so I can't speak for anybody that has had it happen. Sorry for anybody that has had it happen, but no, I can't really say that like, oh yeah, it was a bad thing because I didn't really experience it. I assume it was a bad thing. Probably was.
I
I feel
mean,
sorry for all
I
the
guess
people
it
that
was
actually had to go
past.
through it.
It was the past, I
Oh,
guess.
okay. So I looked it up, and the Red Ring of Death popped up when there was general hardware failure.
Oh.
So yeah, there
Oh.
So not
was
overheating.
there's 4 indications for like
Oh no,
like
but
what
Vignesh, you're right. The general cause is most often excessive heat.
yeah.
Yeah, overheating.
So it would be if you got a red ring on the bottom left hand corner, it would be a hardware failure. If you get 2 rings on the right hand side, it would be from overheating. If you get 3 rings from both the whole right side and then on the bottom left hand corner, it would be general hardware failure. And then if it was all 4 of them, it would be a cable error.
I just realized that like my Xbox 360 couldn't get the Red Ring of Death because I believe I have the newest version of the Xbox 360,
Yeah.
which was
Oh,
released without like any problems like that, like the
No,
Red
but
Ring
like
of
also
Death.
like
Oh.
Although I used to have the older version
voice crack.
until that one broke. I don't know how. It was not the Red Ring of Death.
It
I
was a
I
rating
know
of
that
death.
I think that you
Actually,
got
it
one of
might have been.
I think that you got one of the later ones that had like the smaller power button which
Well,
I
Russell,
don't think.
I also had the older one, which I
Yeah,
think that one broke actually. That might have actually been the Red Ring of Death, but I don't remember. Who knows?
Perhaps.
And
but
then I got
again,
a
like
newer
I
one
don't
later.
think that the red rings are initially caused by. I mean, granted, it might be. I mean, if you like, if it's like from overheat, or if it's just a cable, you could easily like you could easily just like turn off the console and get everything off of it and let it cool down, and then try and
Mhm.
turn it on again. And then the cable, it's an AV cable error, so you can easily just go and get another AV cable and just fix it. Boom.
Mhm.
But then if it's like the general hardware failure or just hardware failure in general, that's kind of a little bit more difficult to try and fix. But I don't think it's that much harder to do. But
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, I don't think it had a I don't think it was just like it was like the end of your console's life is coming up. You better make the best time out of it. It was more just like it was just some faulty errors in your console.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, I'm gonna have to take back my words about the company ruining their images. Due to that,
Well,
it's
because
actually pretty nice
they
because
certainly brought it back
you
with the
know I play
Xbox
it.
One, which again we'll get to later. But like we've all said, I think the red rings was the worst part about the 360. Besides that, I think it was a good console, and
Yeah,
I
for
Yeah, it
sure.
was
and I
an
can
amazing
say that
console.
about one thing besides the red rings that I will give to I think the PS, but because the PS3 and the Xbox 360 were in a battle of formats. So you know how earlier
Mm.
I said that the PS2 was the first ever console to support DVDs. Well, around
Yeah.
this time when both consoles came out, two new formats came out called Blu-ray and HD DVD. Sony supported Blu-ray because I think the company that did the no because no because Sony supported Blu-ray and Microsoft supported HD DVD. And the reason why that the price for the PS3 was so high was because that the original PS3 was not only a console, but it was also a Blu-ray player.
Oh,
Yeah.
So that's how the PS3, I believe, outsold the 360 voice crack. Um
Voice crack.
um
okay.
but okay, Vinesh, if two people already said it, you don't need to say it again. But
I did not say what.
yes, you did. I'm not stupid. All right.
That was it.
I don't give a shit.
That was
So
Whoa! No cussing on the podcast, man.
exactly. And you know how to blame
Anyways,
me every
continue,
time.
Russell. Sorry.
Vignesh, you know I have
Anyways.
the power to kick you off this call. You know that,
Just
right?
continue, continue,
But
continue.
Continue, just continue.
What the
but
hell?
I believe that's how the PS3 outsold the 360 was because it was a Blu-ray player. Because the 360 initially, if you bought it, it was just a standard DVD player. In order to play HD DVDs, you had to get a whole separate player to play them on, which was about I think at $50 to $100. So you would be basically paying the same amount of price to get the 360 and a HD DVD player versus just buying the PS3 and getting a Blu-ray player. And it not only like I said, I think it outsold the 360. It also made Blu-ray become the dominant format between it and HD DVD.
Mhm.
So that was a significant. I think that's one improvement. The one thing I will give to the PS3 was that it was a Blu-ray player compared to the 360's DVD/HD DVD player. Um, because really, who knows any good titles that were on HD DVD compared to Blu-ray? But that's me
Fortnite the
saying.
movie.
Dylan, god damn it, dude.
Russell the
Dude,
movie.
that's a really good title.
Also the movie.
Alright.
It's just a joke, dude. Continue.
You guys keep on saying it, it gets annoying after a while.
Sorry,
Hang on.
man.
Okay,
Sorry.
I'm gonna be honest. I think we've been on this
Uh,
for way too long. I don't know.
Yeah,
Is
I
that
think
just
we should
me?
move on to the next
Okay, well,
generation.
just
Yeah, you've been on this for long.
Final thoughts for everyone
Hate it.
on the 360, PS3, and the Wii.
Overall, good
Also,
consoles, although they each have their flaws.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Overall,
like the
good consoles,
Wii
but I
best
prefer
over the
Actually,
the.
before
360
really quick
because I
thing,
just
I
played
just
more on the
remembered
Wii.
about the Wii. It was backwards compatible with the GameCube.
Oh my god!
I
Oh,
just remembered that.
Oh,
wow.
that's actually cool. Actually, yeah.
That's not bad.
I never actually knew that.
And the PS3,
Yeah, I
the
mean,
PS2
neither.
was also backwards compatible with the regular PlayStation.
And what
Nice.
about the
I don't know
Xbox?
about the
I think
original. I
Xbox.
don't know about the 360 being backwards compatible with the original Xbox. Or I think that the PS3, if you mod it, can play games from both the PS2 and the original PlayStation.
That
But
sucks.
yeah, but you did have to, if you want to get like a full experience, you did have to plug in a GameCube controller. But I think there's like a slot, there's like a panel on top of the console
Sorry to
where
interrupt, but the Xbox 360 was backwards compatible.
okay, it was okay.
Wait for what?
Unless Safari
for
lied to me.
I mean I don't know.
It's the internet,
But
man.
like
I
you
take
can,
everything with a grain
I
of
do
salt.
remember that you can play GameCube games on the Wii, and you can play them with a GameCube controller, which was really
Mhm.
beneficial because the controller for the Wii, trying to play, let's say, Super Mario Sunshine, it would have been torturous. But let's move on to the next section, which will be comparing the Xbox One, the PS4, and the Wii U.
We'll also be including, or no, are we talking about the Xbox One S and X later,
Well, yeah,
along with the
yeah, really,
PS4 Pro?
yeah, really just the consoles itself that were named the Xbox One, the PS4,
All
stuff
right,
like that.
perfect.
Okay.
All right, just
Alright.
wondering.
Oh,
All right.
hang on, wait. My phone's at 2%, so I'm gonna leave, let it charge, and join back in a few
All right.
moments.
Okay,
You
see
ready?
ya.
Okay. So everyone, your thoughts on each console, from this
Okay.
section.
Okay, so I think, yeah, don't go on.
No, don't worry.
No, don't. You could. Okay, fine. Um,
I insist.
okay. Sorry about interrupting. Don't. But what I'm trying to say is that for me personally, I had the Xbox One, and personally owned it for 4 years. So, in my personal opinion, I think the Xbox One is good. But I think that overall, I think I like the PlayStation 4, even though I think I use only once or twice. The reason is because at least it does not have like the giant brick outside. You have to plug it in, and it's not that bulky as the original Xbox One. Oh no, not the original. Yeah, the Xbox One. So I think that I would. Okay, I had the Xbox One, and it worked really well for 4 years, and I really enjoyed it. But if I had the PS4, I think it would be a really good experience as well. I don't think I would regret it at all. I mean, instead of
I think
the
the only
controller
reason
and
why that
the
you're saying the PS4 is because you sold your Xbox One, and so you're just
no,
pissed, and you're like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna say PS4.
no, dude.
No,
Honestly,
he says he prefers the Xbox One, and
I'm
he's talking
kidding.
about how the
I'm
exactly.
making
PS4
a
would also be
joke.
a good console.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean it's a good concept
this is
because of
one that
the
I
wait, like
will have to honestly give the Xbox One the point for this one. Where like even like the last one where it was like the 360 and the Wii, for me personally, it was a tough battle because I liked both of them, and also the PS3. For this section, it's no competition. That was the Xbox One. I mean, because
yeah.
I like the PS4, but I think really the only thing, like again, like the controller, I'm not that too fond of. Um, and I think the only thing that would make that made that may slightly that like slightly above all the other consoles for me is Spider-Man, like the game. But that's granted
Here's what I'll
one game.
say
That's
about the
granted only
PS4.
one game over like thousand, like a whole bunch of titles for the Xbox
You and
One that are
help
way
me,
better.
Dylan.
Here, I want to say this about the PS4. So I actually played on the PS4 for a while. I still have it, and
Which
yeah, even after playing on it like every day for like several months, I never really got the hang of like maneuvering around the console. Like it wasn't really that user friendly. Like it was Like you have to press 7 buttons just to get into like a party and do other stuff. It's just isn't as user friendly as the
Yeah,
Xbox, in my
Xbox is
opinion.
very convenient for in my opinion. But people think that the PlayStation 4 UI is more simpler. Granted, yeah, it does look simpler, but for me, I don't obviously use Xbox UI is my cup of tea for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Like I got used to the Xbox like UI in like less than a week, and I
same
still
here.
never got used to the PS4 one over the course of a couple months.
Yeah, that's true. Sean, do you have anything to say?
About
The
the
Xbox
consoles we were
The
just
One,
discussing.
the
the
Xbox
PS4,
One.
Xbox One, any version
Oh,
for both, and
the
the Wii
PS4
U.
and Xbox One. Well, I did have an Xbox One. The controller, I can say the controller was smaller. It fit a lot better in my hands. Um, I can say that for a fact. Going from the concern about controller size with 360. Um, I didn't really have a PS4 though, so I can't say anything on the PS series. Only really on the Xbox.
The PS series, not the PlayStation.
Yes, the PS. No, it's the PS series now. All right, it's just
I'm still gonna call it by its full name.
okay. That's cool. I'm still calling it by the PS
Um,
series. We both
I
can't get
did
over it.
hear that, unfortunately, to anyone who did like the PS4, Sony announced like a week or two ago that they have discontinued the PS4.
Ooh, F, big F.
So sorry for anyone who did
That's a pretty
like that.
bold move. That
I
is
mean,
a
yeah.
pretty bold move.
I mean, like,
Yeah,
sorry for
pretty
anyone
much.
who liked that console, but unfortunately, Sony isn't gonna make it for you anymore. So
I
Basically,
mean,
forcing people
to
to
get the
buy the PS5.
I
Or
mean,
to
I
get
just
either
just
get
get
an
an
either
Xbox
Xbox
to
One.
buy the PS5 or go and get an Xbox one of the Xbox consoles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
see,
get an
same
But
Xbox
opinion.
console.
for this one, it's really no doubt for me that I'm gonna have to give this one to the Xbox One, cause
Yeah, I think the
again for
console.
me it's for the
Mhm.
PS4 it's the controller. Never really got used to the PS4 or the PlayStation controller at all. Again, it's just the two joysticks like right next to each other. I never got used to it. I always found it like so more comfortable with like the Xbox and even like the Switch style. And even like the Wii U gamepad still had like one joystick the for like the top right hand corner, and then the other joystick at the kind of like the bottom left hand corner. I still I'm so used to that trying to play a PlayStation game with the PlayStation controller is just no. Which is why I'm actually
I'll say
excited.
this.
Go on, Dylan.
Sorry.
It's alright.
Like once again, I used the PS4 for several months. Still do occasionally, but I got sort of used to the controller. Although it's just not as comfortable as the Xbox controller.
Yeah.
Yeah, Xbox control I think the analog stick is the main difference. Like the analog stick on the PlayStation is like next to each other, while the Xbox is like diagonal. So I think I don't know why it feels more
So
comfortable.
basically what I was saying. But
Yeah, that's true.
no,
But
like
still,
um and I do kind of really want to give for me personally, I want to give the point to the Wii U, but it's just the fact that they had mostly just either shovelware titles or just downscaled versions of games that we were getting on the Xbox One or the PS4.
Smash Bros. They have Smash.
Granted, there was some good games on there. Like I feel like that Nintendo Land is probably, in my personal opinion, one of the best party games I've ever played. Um,
Oh yeah, dude, I
and
remember playing that with a couple of friends
um,
before.
and like some of like the new Super Mario games. I remember Super Mario Bros. U was okay, but really besides that, there was really nothing good on it. I do like that the fact that the it came with like it's like the gamepad. I do like the style of the gamepad and how it had like a little like area of the gamepad where you could like put amiibos on there. I did like that. The Pro controller, and it's kind of just like it's a Nintendo version of like the Xbox 360 controller, which I'm fine with. But besides that, the console, I think it looked great, but it really just comes down to the library.
That's
Um,
true.
which is why again I'm gonna have to give it to the Xbox One. And Aiden's back.
No, I'm not.
Moving on now.
Oh wait,
Obviously,
well, actually we didn't
obviously, Aiden
hear.
is not
Wait,
back.
Well, actually we
wait,
need to
wait,
hear. Aiden, what? Even though I probably know the answer. What is your what's your personal favorite console between the Xbox One, the PS4, or the Wii U?
I'd have to go with the Wii U. I'm just kidding. Xbox One for sure. I mean, I don't know too much of a difference between that and the PS4, but I mean, I just had an Xbox One, so I was like, okay.
You just,
Yeah, that's a good
Which
you
console.
is
just happen to have an Xbox.
the kind of going back really quickly to the controller thing. I'm actually kind of glad that with the Crash Bandicoot thing where they put the Insane Trilogy not only on the 360 but also on like the Switch, along with like Crash Team Racing Nitro Kart and they didn't add Crash Bandicoot 4 on Switch, which I kind of makes sense, but I feel like that I would have a way better time trying to play the Crash games on the 360 controller than the PlayStation controller. But that's just me personally. Now we're gonna go on to the most recent consoles. Yes, I did lump the Switch into this category.
We're also forgetting about a couple of consoles here.
Like what?
Xbox One S,
No,
Xbox One
no,
X,
I know.
and
I was
PS4
gonna get
Pro.
to that, but like I was just saying that I only moved the Switch to this category so that there would be a fair comparison between all three companies. So, yeah. So that's why the Switch is up here and not with like the previous ones, because technically the Switch came out after they the Xbox One and the PS4 already came out. I think by like
It's not
2 years.
technically,
I
it's
think
literally.
I know by a few years, but um yeah. So that's why I'm lumping the Switch into the Xbox Series X/S and the PS5 category. So even though uh, I won't give the point to the Switch, I still think that it's probably one of the best Nintendo consoles ever made. But
Well, we should definitely mention the
yes,
One
yeah, I
S,
was gonna
One
get to
X, and
that.
PS4 Pro now.
Yeah, I was just clarifying that. So the final section that we will be talking about in this video is the PS5, the Xbox Series X/S, and the Nintendo Switch. Now I think I know what mostly everyone's opinions are gonna be, but for the viewers, what is all your guys' personal favorites?
Obviously, the N64. I mean, Xbox Series X. My bad.
Yeah, the Xbox Series X, obviously.
Sorry, but like I said, we have to mention the other consoles.
They're pretty much the same. Xbox One X has 4K, so I take that over
Yeah.
the normal Xbox One. But
Xbox
Yeah.
One S also an improvement over the old one slightly, and obviously
Yeah.
smaller. PS4
Yeah, smaller.
Pro, basically like the Xbox One X of PS4.
But
There
the
we go.
Xbox
I
One
thought
is
that
Right
we were
now
gonna.
we can get
I
on to
thought
the
that
Series
we were
X,
gonna
Series
mention.
S, PS5, Switch.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
No, but I'm just saying we should have mentioned those other ones before we mentioned the newest ones. But now that we got that out of the way, now we can talk about the new ones.
Okay.
that.
All right, so Dylan, what's your opinion?
All right, so obviously I personally own the Series S, and it is in like when I went from the Xbox One S to this one, it was just eye-opening, dude. It was just freaking amazing how good the graphics were,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously the frame rate is doubled, and
Yeah.
the load times, dude,
Oh
extremely
my god!
fast.
Don't even
The
need loading
instant.
screens.
Exactly. Like what
I
even
don't
are
really need
loading
quick
screens?
resume. You don't need quick resume. Actually, it's good without it. But obviously,
Quick resume is amazing as well.
But it
Yeah,
only
generation
works in like
feature.
non-multiplayer settings because, like,
Yeah.
obviously, yeah.
And obviously, in my opinion, I think it has the number one controller overall, like the Series S and
Yeah.
X.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even
the
though it's not
D-pad's
that.
on it really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, even
I
though it's
do.
not
I do
that
want to
different.
state right now that I unfortunately don't have one, but I am looking forward to getting a Series S at some point.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
But I guess I mean the controller is obviously amazing. It's obviously the difference I could obviously see the difference between the One S and the original Xbox One controller to this controller. This controller feels way smaller. Like people are saying that the controller's small. I'm like, I don't think it would be that small. But then when I held it, God, I could see a big difference. I think it's mainly because I was looking at a Nintendo Switch. Like I was actually having a Nintendo Switch because so I guess it might be like that kind of difference, but I mean, it was smaller. There's actually like a cool new touches with the D-pad and the more texture in the back. Even the Xbox One S and the Series Xbox One X had a texture in the back on the controllers. This has more texture, or just more. That's much better for your sweaty hands. And obviously like improve like the whole design is actually a little different. So yeah, I obviously really love the Series X controller and the Series S
Yeah,
controller, obviously.
yeah.
Yeah.
With my opinion on the controller, it's still a really good one, but I have ginormous hands, so and since it's a smaller, I mean, it's not like super smaller, but I mean, like, I don't know, I still don't get like a total grip on the controller, if that makes sense. Like sometimes my whole hand doesn't even touch the controller half the time. So
Yeah.
um, for me, like I said, I don't personally have uh either any of the new Xboxes or the PS5. And like I said, I am trying to get the Series S. But from what I've seen, it is it can possibly be an eye opener for me to a new a new age of gaming that I really was never able to experience because I've been and I still am a huge Nintendo fan. Um, I mean, granted, I've
Who
always
isn't?
been interested in Sony and Microsoft consoles, but I just feel like that the Nintendo ones always had more recognizable stuff. I mean, yeah, obviously, like Microsoft's gonna have um, Master Chief from like Halo and
Dude,
um,
Nintendo has
Gears of
like
War.
20 different
Gears of War
faces.
5.
yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but I have to go eat dinner. So
All right.
All right.
See you
Also,
guys.
one last thing I forgot to mention about the next gen is ray tracing.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, it's really
Okay.
good. Ray
Ray
tracing.
tracing.
It gives a realistic feel to the game. It's like
Oh, okay.
realistic.
I was
Oh,
like, wait, what the hell are you guys talking about? I don't even know.
Especially in a game like Fortnite or Sea of Thieves, like the lighting is just amazing.
And some other games as well, like Gears 5, I guess. Yeah.
Um,
but back to what Russell was saying earlier. So I'm just gonna let you talk.
Okay.
um, so for for me personally, um, it I'm still a hardcore Nintendo fan, and I love the Switch. It's probably one of the best the one of the best consoles I've ever played in quite a while. I mean, not saying I love the Wii or the Wii U, despite their catalog of titles. Um, it uh, it for me with this console, it just comes down to the graphics, especially when you compare something like Fortnite for example. Even with like comparing the Switch version and the regular Xbox One edition, you could tell that there was a significant downgrade from the one to the Switch. And
Yeah.
with the Switch and like the Series X or even the S, there's no competition in saying that the Xbox One has or the Series X and S have way better graphics. Um,
I mean, I
but
don't think the PS5.
um, for me personally, I think the software titles for the Switch are great. And that they're still coming out with great titles. I think that the initial controller that it comes with, is a very unique design, and I actually do like it. But there's one problem with the controllers, um, that I think a lot of Nintendo fans can agree with me is drift. Uh, and to be completely honest, with my Joy-Cons, I still haven't got them fixed yet. But I do plan on trying to fix them at some point. But besides that, library, great. Um,
It's Nintendo.
the different variations that they came out with are great designs. Even the different controller designs, even the Pro controller is great.
But Russell, remember, like your controller drift. Like, no offense, has a lot to do with you throwing it.
No. With that, no. I'm
That's
even
true.
no. I'm talking about like the Joy Cons. I never threw the Joy
No,
Cons.
I know.
But even then, like
Yeah.
the Pro controllers that I had, they were like honestly like cheap $20 ones that you get at Target. So they weren't
Yeah.
Yeah.
the best quality compared to obviously the official Nintendo stuff, which I'm sorry, but trying to just out of curiosity, doing how much is an extra controller for the Series X/S?
I believe it's $60, but let
I
me
think
check.
$70.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
$70.
usually about what the actual things
For
go
the
for.
Switch, the official Nintendo Pro controller for the Switch is 80,
Let me look it up real quick.
Yeah,
and different
Okay, the price
Joy-Con
is
variations is 70.
$50. $50.
So yeah, I think
How
that's
much is it?
wait, what, Vignesh? Your mic was
Yeah,
kind of
it's
scratchy.
$50. It was $50 for the
Okay,
controller.
50 or 60?
50.
50.
Oh, okay, that's not as bad as I thought. That's pretty good for
So
a controller, but it's still overpriced.
Yeah.
yeah, at least it's not overpriced as the freaking Switch ones.
Honestly, I think a new controller should maybe be like $30.
Yeah,
True.
but
that's true. But then you also have to,
and
understand
I
how
think
they're
that
going to make money
I think the
to
best
invest in
thing
more
about
games
the
and everything.
Switch that none of you can argue with this is the
Portable.
fact that yeah, it's portable.
Yeah, no, nobody can argue with that.
The Switch
No,
is
Also, though, the PlayStation has virtual reality,
it
yeah,
does.
but
And
and the Xbox has Game Pass.
no, it also has
true.
remote. I think the Xbox
But
Series
really,
S and or
like,
X
I mean,
has.
granted, one, the Switch had the Nintendo Switch Online service, which I guess kind of counts. But really, the fact that Nintendo's really aiming more towards the family aspect and not towards. I see more the Xbox and like the PlayStation more as
Being more
like.
immersed,
But
I
I
guess.
just see them more as like for like a one person player and maybe two players. The Switch and
Yeah,
like really Nintendo consoles, I see them more as family consoles.
I think that's what makes
Yeah.
them so popular.
Yeah, it certainly does. Which is why I still love them for that reason. Um, but I can't lie that like that Xbox has better graphics, a slightly better controller, I will admit, than the Switch, and
Compared like a Switch to like the Series X, it doesn't even hold a candle to the performance
oh yeah,
of
yeah,
the
No,
well,
it
Series
in terms of
X.
doesn't, but it's a
performance,
lot
yeah,
more convenient, and
I can't
And
like,
lie about
dude,
also
that.
you
and
will
also
not believe
suffered.
how many times I have taken my Switch to things like Science Olympiad tournaments where you have to
Oh
go
yeah,
somewhere. You have to
I
go
remember.
somewhere for a day, right? You have to stay there the entire day. When you get back home, it's late. It's like 7 o'clock. You're not gonna have much time for
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
else.
I remember that. I remember that. Sean
The
bringing that.
Switch for its
But
convenience, it was just so nice then.
Obviously, for convenience, yes, but the Xbox just performs way better. Like
yeah,
the next gens compared to the Switch.
and also by the way, the Xbox Series X or NS actually has the remote play, so you can play on your phone. So I mean, I think you count that as a portable gameplay. But I mean, if you have a good phone, then yeah, I think you do that.
Um, I mean, yeah, but I mean, I don't know really what else to talk about. Really, I just
Well, I think
Yeah,
we just about covered everything.
I think
yeah.
Yeah.
just to really end things off here. I'm still gonna love Nintendo for all the stuff that they put out, even if they have some maybe not some good stuff throughout. They are still overall a great game company. But in terms of performance, I can't lie in the fact that the PlayStation and especially the Xbox consoles are way faster than Nintendo will ever be.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe Nintendo
there's a
might get
reason
there.
Nintendo has their games how they are. They spend a lot of they spend a lot of time into their games, like specifically for their consoles, and that's what makes them special in their
Yeah,
own right.
but maybe in the near future we might see a Nintendo console that might have the same performance as the Series X.
Wouldn't that be
Like a Nintendo
great?
Switch Pro.
Dude,
I think people are
imagine how
Maybe,
much
thinking about.
Pokemon you could play on that.
dude. That would
No,
actually
that
be
would
Nintendo
sick.
Switch games at like 120 FPS.
Dude,
dude,
that
the
would be
first thing I
sick.
would do would either try to get my hands on like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild or something.
Oh,
Like
dude.
like to see graphics like
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
Ray
that'll be
Um
really
tracing in
good.
that game.
Oh, dude, that would be so
oh
sick,
If it,
dude.
I mean, if it'd be like not on Nintendo game, it'll be like it'll be like a really good, like almost like the same game, but it's actually
it
really good
would
at
be the
graphics.
same game. It just looks so much better and a
Yeah,
lot more
Yeah,
beautiful.
I mean,
and
for
it
Like
would
something that
run a
doesn't look
lot
like
better
the
too.
Nintendo controller.
yeah, I mean like we all know about the you can put your Nintendo Switch, plug it into your TV, etc., etc. But like actually having a console that can handle that much and just like
And run
seeing things like
portably.
yeah, and like
That's
seeing
saying
things
something.
like Breath
Yeah,
uh, Breath of the Wild on that, or like maybe some of the newer Pokemon games like Sword and Shield, but like yeah, Breath of the Wild, any open world games, it would look really nice.
yeah, it
Yeah.
would. Okay,
I think even
I
like
know that.
Mario Odyssey
Yeah,
might
Odyssey
might
would
look
look
good.
really nice
Like
because that's
it would look very
Actually, Mario
nice.
Kart. Mario
Yeah,
Kart would
Mario
be.
Kart would
Mario
actually
Kart would
look.
look pretty cool in there too.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a racing game, so I think 120 FPS with that game would be
it would be
amazing.
Yeah,
broken.
that's a good point. Ooh,
Um,
or Splatoon.
yeah.
Love Splatoon.
But besides that, does anyone else want to mention anything before we get on to the end card?
Well, I mean, I kind of hope there's a Splatoon 3, but that
Oh,
doesn't
dude,
really.
Splatoon 3. We gotta see um how Splatoon 2 does. That's a
I mean,
mouthful.
it did really well, especially with the Octo Expansion DLC, which I definitely do not have to
Yeah.
anyway.
Especially with the, I think it might, I suppose a Splatoon 3 might happen, especially with the most recent Splatfest that happened for like Mario's
Yeah,
35th
that's true.
anniversary. I think
That's true. That's true.
it's gonna, it's probably gonna be a possibility. But
Oh, a lot
but
of people love that.
yeah. Um, does anyone else want to mention anything?
Nothing.
I mean,
Dude, we're good.
I think all I really want to say is we really kind of want to push for those consoles from like a new console from Nintendo because like I think Super Smash Bros. But like
Yes, dude. Super Smash Bros. At 120 FPS, dude. That would be
oh dude, that would
so
look
sick.
so good.
Yeah.
Um, right now it's hopes and dreams, but let's hope that
Hey,
actually
maybe
becomes a
someday it'll
reality.
become a reality.
Yeah, let's hope that it really
Hold out
becomes a
hope.
reality. Um, before we get on to the usual stuff that we say at the end of these episodes, don't want to you tell the audience, the lovely audience at home, what the next episode of the podcast will be.
Basically, we're gonna be ranking every poop sock from.
Okay.
Okay, I have. Once again,
Okay.
I have no idea what the next episode is.
See, this is we actually don't have an idea for next episode, so this is where you guys come in. I will be making a post, obviously saying that we're gonna be releasing this episode. It should be out by the time this episode's out. But in the
Yeah.
comments of that video, suggest an idea for what the next episode idea should be, and if it's good enough and if it's PG, we'll do it. So,
Yeah.
and also we will be brainstorming ideas because really we need it.
Wait, didn't I give you guys an idea back in December Minecraft episode?
We do have that planned.
We might
Yeah.
we might do that in a few weeks, maybe. But
Hey, that's
Yeah.
something for people to look forward to.
probably not this week, this Friday. But
And probably the game Rocket League. I don't know. I'm thinking about
why
that.
would we do?
Also, the person who kept joining
I
and
mean,
leaving was
because-
Aiden.
No,
Was?
No,
actually,
actually,
no,
it's
that
Isaac.
was not Aiden.
That's Isaac.
We're gonna keep that a secret.
Oh
So-
yes. Next
No,
week
no, no,
you might
Yep,
potentially.
secret.
Yeah, next week you might see a potential new face of the podcast.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Stay
Yes.
tuned. So yeah, like I said,
No, yeah, and sorry we didn't upload this on Friday. We just had a lot going on that day.
at least we
So,
got one
yeah.
episode out that day, which was the Star Wars
Mhm.
discussion, which will be at the end card, which is actually happening right now. So go and follow me at my Instagram. It will probably be down in the description below. To ask me if you guys want to be on a episode of the Cringe Squadcast, and also to suggest an idea for the Cringe Squadcast.
Yes.
That will be down in the description below. Click on the channel or go down to the channel name below and hit that subscribe button and hopefully hit that bell icon if Dylan figures out how the hell they get that fixed.
What? That's what?
No, because for some reason the channel's still made for kids. I don't know why. But,
Oh, okay, yeah, we'll look into that. But yeah, if you have next week, we'll be doing whatever you guys recommend. To
You mean
do.
this
So
Friday,
just
right?
Message. Yeah, this
This
week.
Friday.
You said next week.
No, I said this week.
Okay, whatever.
You might have misheard me. Whatever. Just let Russell know, and then we could possibly do it. But yeah,
Yep, and
thanks for tuning
then
in.
like I said, click the profile pic that will be on the video, or click down at the name to hit the subscribe button, and again hit that bell icon to when we get it fixed to get notifications on when new episodes are coming out, and you can click over on this side for our last episode, the Star Wars discussion, and the previous episode before that. So. Hope you guys enjoyed this this week this Monday's episode because again, like Dylan said, we weren't able to film this on Friday. But by Friday of this week, the schedule will be back to the same. Hopefully. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Leave down in the comments of the post I will be making and suggest an idea for what this Friday's episode will be. And so long for now.
Okay,
Ciao.
see ya.
Goodbye.